Hi everyone, my name is François Prumont and I joined Lux Innovation in 2021. I work in the team of European RDI and I'm the national contact point for the cluster 2, which is about culture, creativity and social inclusion. And I'm also the national contact point for the cluster 5, which is about energy, mobility and climate. Before starting, I would like to thank a few people because as you can imagine, organizing a digital event is a huge workload. So I would like to thank Nathalie, Marine, Rebecca, and all the people that have worked on this digital event. So today it's a real pleasure for me to introduce you to explain a bit more what are these European missions. There are 5 of these European missions. It's a new instrument from Horizon Europe. And as you know, Horizon Europe is the framework program for research and innovation. This is the agenda for today. I will introduce some basic element about the mission, some element of context, of history. Then we will try to see what are the main commonalities between these 5 European missions. And we will take some time to discuss about the specificities of each mission, because due to the vast thematic, we have some strong specificities. And the last point, which is more transversal, we will try to see how to benefit of these missions and how this can be done. So the first discussion on this European mission, they took place around 2018. The European Commissioner in charge of this matter was Carlos Moedas. And what we can highlight also is the role of famous economist, Professor Mariana Mazzucato. In 2018, she was writing the report that you see on the right, which is quite interesting. So in this report, we will see some keywords that you are quite used to, like innovation, inclusion, sustainability. These are the keywords that we are used in Horizon Europe, and this remain the same. But what is different is the approach with more clear, bold, ambitious targets. A different approach also in terms of bottom-up approach, collaborative, different governance, different business model, some trial, some experimentation. This is a bit different. There is a sentence that I like to summarize the missions. Big science deployed to meet big problem. If you check some information about the European missions quickly, you will see this this comparison with the Apollo program. So of course this program is famous for having sent the first man on the moon. It was an objective that was set by Kennedy in '61, and we can say that the Apollo program and the European mission, they share some commonalities. The target, the goal is quite ambitious. It's also clear. I mean, you can express it in one sentence, which is not always the case in other Horizon Europe projects. Sorry. The timeline also is quite clear. It's cross-sectorial. For the Apollo mission, it was related to IT development, everything. And for the mission, it's the same. It's covering a wide range of thematic and areas. And also the possibility to achieve some non-expected externalities, we call them. For instance, one mission is about climate neutral cities. And you can imagine that if one city is climate neutral, the air quality in this city will be better, and probably the congestion or the fatalities due to the traffic will be less important. So how are these EU missions described? So they are seen as a new way, as a solution to our most important societal challenges. It's a novelty for the Horizon Europe. So even for us at Lux Innovation, this is a new approach, a new way of working. The 5 missions have all a target that has been set by 2030. And of course, because it's Horizon Europe, there is always innovation is still at the core. But as already mentioned previously, the approach is a bit new in terms of governance, collaboration, engagement of citizens. So what are the 5 topics covered by the missions? Climate resilience, which is also called adaptation to climate change. The cancer mission, ocean and water mission, the soil mission, and the last mission, it's about smart and climate neutral cities. So I guess that in the audience, some people are used to Horizon Europe or H2020 project. And actually, the missions, they share some common points in terms of processes with the cluster. For instance, if you are used to the cluster, the work program is your Bible, let's say, and this is exactly the same for the missions. The missions have their own work program that you can check. This work program, they contain all the calls, all the information regarding eligibility and so on. So the structure of the call and topic is very similar to what you can find in the cluster. So there is no surprise on that side. You can still check for the call on the funding and tender platform to have more information on the deadlines, on the dates, and so on. And of course, the mission, they also support all the European policies and strategies like the Green Deal, the New Bauhaus, and so on. But what you have to be aware is that there is not a perfect overlap. Normally, there is no overlap at all on the call. So it means that one call, one topic, which is in the mission, will not be in the cluster. So it means that if you want to develop a project on a certain thematic, it's wise and it's a good advice to check both the work program of your cluster and the work program of your mission, because it might be that if you only look one of the two, maybe you will miss an opportunity to join a relevant project. What is also different is the focus on some territories. Sometimes it's a commune, sometimes it's a region, sometimes it's a community. So this is another important difference. So this is, I wanted to show you how to identify the calls and topics that are related to the missions. I guess that most of you are familiar with this funding and tender platform from the European Commission. In this case, I just put a small word miss. It's related to mission. And then you have the list of calls related to the missions that are closed, that are open, or that will open soon. That's an easy way to see the available call. What I can mention also is that in 2022, other new call for all the mission will be available. So not all the call and the topics are available on this platform yet. So let's start with the first mission, the cancer mission. So the bold and clear objective is to improve the life of more than 3 million people by 2030. So you see that the objective is clear, it's short, it's understandable, and it's timely constrained, there is a deadline. So you can wonder, why does it make sense to have a mission on cancer? I mean, for this one, it's pretty obvious due to the high number of people that are diagnosed with a cancer every year in Europe, the number of people who die from it every year, and also the economical impact that cancer has in total. Some specificities. So there is a rather important focus on the patient and patient's organization that are suggested to participate to the various calls. For these missions, the scientific excellence is quite highlighted. So it's clear that these missions, the call, are more for researchers from research center or universities, and then patients' organization or important actors of the health system. So what is interesting to see is this growth of digitalization, even in the health thematic. And another point which is important to mention is the alignment between the mission and the strategy at the European level. For instance, the cancer mission is strongly aligned with the plan of the Europe Beating Cancer Plan. And this is often the case with the other missions. So in terms of funding, around 400 millions will be available for the period between 2021 and 2023. And you will see how does this split between the different call. So yeah, you see at the bottom of the picture that there is a call dedicated to more scientific understanding. One is about prevent what is preventable, support the quality of life through different measures, and optimize diagnosis and treatment. So this is the red pillar. And you see that the calls and topic for that pillar are not available yet. So it means that this call will be published later in 2022. So what you see also at the bottom of this slide is that some calls are already closed. They were published in 2021. The deadline was in September. And so for this call, it's quite often what we call CSA, so coordination support action. So it's project that will support the missions in its implementation. And you have also the full nomenclature, so the full name of the topic if you want to check on the portal if it's relevant for you. Another mission which is quite interesting, it's about adaptation to climate change or to how to cope with climate adaptation, climate resilience. So you see here that the goal is also very clear, very bold. 150 European regions and communities to become climate resilient by 2030. Something that is interesting and that we discussed a lot during the different meeting is that with climate resilience mission, you try to adapt the society to the global change. I mean, in terms of weather, but you don't really tackle the main cause. So you don't try to decrease CO2 emissions. You try to adapt your city, your territory to the effect of climate change. So yeah, we had many discussions about this, and I think that one of the reasons is that there is another mission which is tackling exactly this this problematic, how to reduce CO2 emission and pollution in general. So of course the climate resilient mission, the reason why we have this mission, it's becoming more and more clear. I mean, due to the event that we faced in Belgium and Germany in July this year. So climate change is happening now, and the negative effect, we see them almost every week in the newspaper. We have floods, we have fire, we have a hurricane. It's more and more frequent. And we can estimate that the effect of this event will cost around 12 billion per year in Europe. So if you read about this mission, you will see that the involvement of the region. So region, we speak about NUTS 2. So that will be, for instance, Wallonia is a NUTS 2. I think that departments in France are considered as a NUTS 2, so pretty large territories. So involvement of regions and communities, but in the same time, there is no open call for them to join if they are interested. So it means that there is not a platform where regions, communities can apply. What's the effect? It means that if regions are interested, they will have to integrate a consortium. They will have to be informed of the call. They will have to find a coordinator, which might be not so easy. It means also that it's the coordinator of a proposal that will be able to decide who is going to participate to that proposal. One important specificity, we speak a lot about demonstrator. I think, demonstrator will be large infrastructure that expect to produce an important outcome. The participation of citizens and communities is also clear. It's made obvious in the various documents. As an example, there is one specific topic where the budget available is 30 million for one project, and one expected target is to reach 100 regions and communities, which is quite high and quite ambitious. In terms of funding, 370 millions will be available for the first period, 2021-2023. For some topic, the budget is really high, like 30 millions for one project, 50 millions for two projects. But it's also coming with a high expectation in terms of involvement, but also in terms of output, what has to be deliverable. So I think it will be challenging to promise something, but also to deliver what has been promised at the beginning. The different documents and call, they mention the co-funding necessity, but it's not clear yet how this co-funding will be implemented, if it's from other public bodies or private partners. So let's jump to this mission. It's about ocean and water, and the objective is to protect 30% of the EU sea area and also restore 25,000 kilometers of free-flowing river. So once again, a clear objective, a specific deadline. To be fully transparent, this is probably not the mission that has the most connection link with Luxembourg. I mean, there is no access to ocean. The rivers that are crossing Luxembourg are not really that important. So it's not the mission which is the most connected to Luxembourg. Why does it make sense to do and to have a water mission? Of course, the climatic effect due to the human activities they create some negative effect on the ocean, pollution, biodiversity lost, and then some extreme weather events. And so it's crucial, it's essential to do something related to water, ocean, and river. Some specificities related to this mission. It's the obligation to develop lighthouses. I think I have the definition of lighthouses. So lighthouses, places for demonstration of solution, training, and communication. And these lighthouses, they are like geographically defined. Some territories, basin, they call them. For instance, the Danube River Basin, Mediterranean Sea Basin, and so on. Five basin, I think. So it's geographically defined. What is also very relevant is that there is a need to have like one digital platform per lighthouse. Something quite new to me. It's the project to have a digital twin for ocean. I mean, now everyone know in Luxembourg about the digital twin of list and the different effect that this can have. But I think it's quite new to have this digital twin also for ocean. Blue Park. So to me, Blue Park is a bit like a national park in I don't know in France or in the a forest. But to have a blue park would mean to protect some areas on the coast or in the sea. Of course, because of the thematic, the involvement of the public and the citizen is also quite important. In terms of funding, some specificities. I mean, half a billion will be available between 2021 and 2023, but not everything will be provided by Horizon Europe, but will also come from European Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund, Invest EU, and different EU programs. So we don't have the detail yet. We don't really know how this will work. So three call will address three policy objectives. You have the name below, and you have also the specific call if you want to have a look on the work program. So let's jump to this mission. It's the soil mission. And the objective is a bit also different, is to have 100 living lab and lighthouses to lead to the transition towards healthy soil by 2030, of course. So you might wonder, but why to have a mission on soil? So actually, I was reading this relevant and very interesting information that 95% of the food that we consume, they come from the soil. So having healthy soil is key. And also, I was not even aware myself that soil is scarce, but it's also non-renewable. So it takes, I don't know, hundred thousands of years to have a soil of high quality, but it might take only a few years to destroy it in different ways. So the quality of the soil in Europe is decreasing, and it's really important to take care of this. But of course, as you can imagine, it will not be possible to improve the soil quality everywhere in Europe, and this is why um, this mission will focus on Living Lab. So Living Lab is defined as a space for co-innovation through participatory, transdisciplinary, and systematic research. So some define territories or experimentation places to do some tests, some experiment. It's supposed to be a co-implementation, so a collaboration between researcher, land manager, farmer, region. So different actors that will have to collaborate in this mission. And first, we'll have to collaborate on a proposal. So the budget available for 2021-2023 is around 300 million euros. There are three call and 9 topics so far. One specificity is that it's 4 CSA and 5 RIA so far, but more topic will come in 2022. So if you are interested by this soil mission, I would advise you to have a look regularly on the funding platform, or you can also send us an email. And when we have information, I would be glad to share this information with you. So this mission, it's quite ambitious, the climate neutral and smart cities mission. The objective is to have 100 climate neutral and smart cities by 2030. Why does it make sense to have this mission? Well, it's quite understandable because 75% of the inhabitants in EU they live in cities, and this is increasing. Cities are responsible for the majority of energy consumption, CO2 emissions, and I already gave this example earlier that co-benefit will probably happen. For instance, a climate neutral city will probably be more quiet, more livable, so more quality of living. So this mission is quite specific in some sense. For instance, it is expected that the target are the cities with more than 100,000 inhabitants. But for instance, in Luxembourg, because Luxembourg is defined as a small member state, the eligibility criteria has been set to 10,000 inhabitants. So it means that roughly in Luxembourg, 10 cities could apply for this cities mission. And in this case, there is an open call for cities. It means that interested cities, they have to submit their expression of interest. So in the last week, we were in contact with all the eligible communes in Luxembourg, checking if they were interested, if they want to submit their expression of interest. The deadline is next Monday. So we have already one or two communes that have submitted their expression of interest, and we hope that more will follow. So the first step will be the development of a climate city contract. So it's a kind of formal contract where a mission will explain their ambition, their vision, their strategy. Citizens will be asked to provide their feedback, comment. It's quite participative. And commune will later receive advice and assistance from the mission platform. So to help them in the implementation of their project. As you can imagine, this mission is really cross-sectorial. It's touching mobility issues, energy, building, because there is the smart component. It's also about digitalization and IT services. So it's quite broad. In terms of funding, it's 360 millions that are available for the 2021 to 2023 period. It is also expected that cities will be able to attract other source of financing, either from private partners that want to join and to collaborate on that ambitious project, but also public, but from a different body. Maybe the national level might support also the initiative. So even if this is mentioned in the various documents, there is no, it's not clear yet how this will take place. So this is a small comparative table between the five missions in terms of core topics that are available now, the budget which is available for 2021, and then the target. And you can see that you might have some differences. For instance, for the cancer mission, it's targeting patients' organization. For the mission cities, it's targeting like communes, cities. So each city, each mission, sorry, they have their own specificities. And if you are interested by one mission, I would advise you to get in contact with me, and then we can see how does it fit, how does it relate with your activities. I would also want to tell that the call and topics that I mentioned here, it's the call that are available now, that are publicly announced. in the next months, I think that it will be the case in April, more call will follow. So if you are interested, it's good to stay updated. Conclusion, it's not yet my last slide, but what do we see? So the mission, it's a new approach, not in terms of process, not in terms of like the way it is done, because it's a bit similar to the cluster. You have your work program, you have the platform, you have some call, you have some eligibility criteria, and so on. So this remains quite similar to the cluster, but the missions are really different in their approach, in their bottom-up process, in the ambition. I mean, the goal which is defined, it's really bold, and the timeline is really a key element. I mean, having some climate neutral city by 2030, is it really possible? For sure, we can agree that it's very ambitious. So depending on your function, the institution where you work, I think it makes sense to have a look at the documentation, the information which is available for each of the mission, because they have their specificities. So, and it's good to get the information. And of course, the first source of information, it's Lux Innovation. Of course, you can do this yourself, and you can try to have a look at the work program. The work program for the mission is around 400 pages. You can also check the implementation plan for each mission, which is also around 80 pages for each mission. So for sure, you can do that. But if you have a specific question, and if you don't want to spend too much time in reading, get in contact with us. Send us an email, you can call me. I would be glad to discuss your project and to see how it relates to the European mission. I think it was 1 week ago, there was EU Mission Info Day. It was, of course, webinar, and these webinars are still available on YouTube. There is a kind of explanation of 2 hours for each of the mission. So if you want to know a bit more, if you want to have an idea of the technical aspect, I think it's a great source of information as well. So that's it for me. And once again, if you have any question, if you have any comment, feedback, I would be glad to discuss with you. And I hope I will be able to get in touch with you in the next days or week. Stop. So I can now see. I mean, if you have some question, do not hesitate to ask me. If there is no question, no reaction. Oh yeah, if you have 2 minutes of your time, I would ask you to go in the poll section and to fill in the two questions that are there. I didn't do that, sorry. Marine, I apologize for that. I should have said that at the very beginning of the session. My bad. But if there is no question, no reaction, and after you have completed the poll, I suggest that we close this session.